presence.
Well, I'm just lucky to be here. Lucky to be here. This is gonna be
They called you out of retirement.
pretty different. You know, it's like that scene in The Godfather. You know, they just keep pulling you back in. So,
I don't think we've had this situation before, but, so you're running the meeting as far as you know?
as far as I know, I took the oath.
Okay.
So Jeb seemed to be happy to be gone. So.
Okay, yeah, I'd forgotten, so I guess it's official.
I missed that going away lunch, did y'all?
I missed the going away lunch too. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I
they,
Matter of fact,
wasn't
I missed the
invited.
email.
yeah. You need to call Jeb and say, "Where's when was the event?"
Oh,
We're talking about the going away lunch for
We
Jeb.
missed the going away lunch.
Yeah, what happened?
Commissioners,
We all
just so you
did.
know, we are about to go live, so if you're not speaking, you may want to mute yourself. And we are live, so commissioners, you may want to mute yourself if you're not already.
Is it time? Is it time?
yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me see if I can find my agenda. I guess it's probably in here. All right. Let me call this meeting to order. We've got a quorum present. Kyle, are there other commissioners on some kind of electronic?
Yes,
Oh, there they are.
yes. Zach, go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Phoenix?
Yeah, Zach, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Phoenix? Commissioner Phoenix?
I see her.
They may not be hearing us at the moment. I think they're having some audio difficulties.
Commissioner Phoenix, can you hear me?
Okay. We can either wait a minute or, we
Let's
do
just-
have a quorum, so we can.
We'll just call the roll and we'll see if we can get back to Pamela Phoenix. Is that who we're waiting for?
Yes, sir.
She is
There
online.
she is. I see her.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Whitney?
She is online.
She's there too. Beth?
Commissioner Swaim?
Here.
Commissioner Landez? Commissioner Landez? Commissioner Nichols?
Here.
And Commissioner Hudson?
Here. There is a quorum present, and if other commissioners, is there a way for us to notify them so they'll turn on their mics or something?
I think it's actual audio. They can't hear us right now,
Okay.
and they're working on the issue.
Okay, while we're working on that, let me just say this is my first commissioners meeting in the era of COVID, and so I'm sure things are different than they were when I left. And so if I omit something or miss something or need prompting, commissioners don't hesitate to do that, because you all have been here during this interesting time. The Planning and Zoning Commission makes recommendations to the City Council. Any item approved today will be heard by the City Council at this regular meeting on Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020, commencing at 9 a.m. If you received a notice for this meeting, you also received a notice for the City Council meeting. Subdivision plats are approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission solely, unless there is a request for a waiver of escrow fees or construction. Only the City Council makes financial decisions. If any item is denied, applicant has 10 calendar days to file a written appeal with the Planning Department. The appeal will then be acted upon by the City Council. If you're here to speak for or against an item, When that item is called for review, you may call 903-363-0651, and you will be placed on hold until that item is open for comments. When you are speaking, please state your name and address for the record. Comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less, although extensions of time may be granted by the chair upon request. The normal work session that might have occurred after this meeting will be set for September 15th at 1:30 and will be held on Microsoft Teams. And of course, that meeting, as all of our meetings are open, are open to the public, is open to the public. The next item on our agenda is consideration of the minutes from the commission teleconference meeting.
Commissioners, please give us a few moments. We're having some technical difficulties that have come up. We're not really sure why we can't hear the audio coming from the city council chamber, but we've got our IT staff working on it.
All right, Steve, we'll wait till, I think we need to wait until the other two commissioners are available before we take an item that we actually vote on.
Commissioners, can you hear us? Okay, it seems to be working now.
Beth, can you hear me? Pamela?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Pamela, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. All right, we're about to consider the minutes from the last commission teleconference meeting on August the 4th. Are there any questions, changes, comments about those minutes? If not, somebody'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the August 4th, 2020 meeting minutes.
Motion's been
Commissioner
made
Phoenix,
to
second.
approve.
Commissioner Swaim, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I believe that's unanimous. Pam and Beth?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, the next item on the agenda was evidently tabled from the last meeting, and so we'd need a motion to remove that item from the table.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we remove Z20-026 from the table.
Motion's been made.
Commissioner Nichols, second.
Motion been seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of removing this item from the table so that it can be dealt with. All those in favor say aye.
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 And that would be a unanimous vote. So, Kyle, tell us about Z20026 Utz Irwin Estate. Hope I said that right.
Yes, sir. Good morning, or good afternoon, Commissioners. This first item has been tabled a couple times, largely due to a timing issue between other requests in the area from the applicant. But here the applicant's requesting to rezone this property from R1A, single-family residential, to R2, two-family residential district. You can see on the zoning map, the properties to the northwest and south are currently zoned R1A, and the properties to the north are currently undeveloped, and the properties to the south are generally developed in single-family homes. There is some vacant property in there. To the east, the property was recently rezoned to PUR, Planned Unit Residential District, limited to, allowing townhome development. So it was approved for a site plan that showed 2-unit townhomes, or essentially duplexes, but each unit on an individual lot. You can see to the southeast, that property is currently zoned R1D, single-family attached, and it's planned to be developed with attached 2-unit townhomes, again, similar to a duplex. What the applicant's requesting to do on this property is to develop a single duplex for their personal residence. They are the developer of the the nearby properties, and they do plan to utilize the property for one duplex. That being said, the property would accommodate more than one duplex, but that is the applicant's plan at the time. If we go to the next slides, you can see here this is just kind of a recap of some of the activity in the area that the applicant has gone through. So they've already had the 3 properties to the east and south rezoned, like I mentioned earlier, for 2-unit townhomes, again, similar to duplexes. But, some of them are PUR with site plans, and then some are R1D without a site plan. So this request will be consistent with that trend of development or form of development, the duplex. And staff has reviewed the application and anticipates no significant impact on services or facilities. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in opposition to the request. And staff recommends approval of the zone change from R1A to R2.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Any questions for staff?
Commissioner Reed, I do have a question about, you had a graphic up there about the 16-unit approved with the clubhouse. Was that, maybe I'm missing from last meeting that it was
Right.
that it was denied.
So at the last PUZ meeting, Planning Commission meeting, the request was for denial, largely due to a disagreement over a green belt adjacent to Willowbrook, the country club. The applicant did appeal that decision to the city council on September 26th,
Okay.
or August 26th. And the city council did approve that zone change to PUR,
Okay.
subject to the green belt and the setback being provided. So some of the issues that were brought up during the Planning Commission meeting were addressed by the developer and ultimately approved.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? I have a card from Jack Wasson. Mr. Wasson, if you'd come and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Jack Wasson. I live at 1265 Roma Drive in Frisco, Texas, and I'm the owner of the property. I bought it from the Utz estate. My purpose in acquiring this is to build a residence for myself. I'm heavily invested in the neighborhood already. Besides this project, I have a 200-unit apartment project off of Walton Road that's been approved as well. And it's my intention to make Tyler my residence, and this is what this is for. It's actually duplex because I'm building one side for myself and one side for my superintendent, who's worked for me for 40 years. We've known each other since we first got married. I've been married for 46 years. He's been married 6 months longer than that, and that's how long we've known each other. So we want to build a single duplex and use that for our own personal benefit. The difference between the duplex and the townhome situation is that we will have one ownership for the entire 3.125 acres, as opposed to splitting the property anywhere between us. We want to own it jointly. So that's the reason for the duplex, which has a single owner, as opposed to a townhome, which all the other properties, we have a demising wall, and they can at some time in the future be sold to individual owners or occupants. I have plans to build two 3,100 square foot units in there with large 2-car garages, so that property will be frozen. There won't be anything else to be done with it. When I'm through with it, it's going to be our residence. And I ask you to approve it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Wasson, thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant, Mr. Wasson? I don't have any other cards, but it's my understanding that Thorani is the person who gets calls if someone has called in to make comments. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Tharani, do you have any citizens from the community on the phone to talk to us?
No, sir, we have not received any phone calls.
Okay, okay. It's not Tharani, it's Zach, okay. Those are all the cards I have. Those are, no comments. Is there a motion on this item?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitney, I make a motion that we approve item Z 20-026.
Commissioner Reed, second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to approve this item. Any comments, questions, anything further? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Looks like a 7-0 vote. Your item is approved. Mr. Watson, good luck with your project. The next item on the agenda is a regular zoning item, Z20-037, Gerald E. Wilson. Kyle?
This is a zone change request from R1A, single-family residential, to RMH, manufactured home residential. The applicant plans to replace the existing single-family home with the manufactured home. Just a little bit of background. The manufactured home is one that's factory built and moved onto the site, and it's built to the national HUD standard, in contrast with a modular home, which is something that is the pieces are brought out on site, and they are built to the local ordinance building code, and they're required to be on the foundation. The properties to the surrounding properties are zoned for residential development and are developed with single-family homes. Staff did look in the area that it did not identify any existing manufactured homes in the general area. This request would amend the future land use guide from the medium to low density single family to single family medium high density. Like I mentioned, the surrounding properties are generally developed with single-family homes, existing single-family homes, and in reviewing the Texas College Area Development Plan, it does recommend maintaining existing R1A and R1B zoning in the area, and the proposed manufactured home could be in conflict with the established character of the neighborhood. Of the notices that were sent, 0 were returned in favor and 1 was returned in opposition, with the protest calculation of 0.27%. The opposition stated a concern with the impact to their property value by the manufactured home. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the form of development is not consistent with the existing type of single-family homes in the area, and staff recommends denial of the request from R1A to RMH.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle? I don't have any cards on this item. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against? Yes, ma'am. If you'd come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Marsha Wilson. I live at 1215 West 34th Street. I am the one asking for the zoning change myself. Reason why is I've tried to get a home built there, but right now it is out of my budget. I've tried the manufacturing houses to where they do bring it into pieces, and they're still over $100,000 and something. So at this time, I'm unable to financially afford a new house, but the house that I'm living in right now is it's an old house. It needs lots of repairs. I've been told by a construction company that they cannot come in and repair the house. said the best thing for me to do would be to bring the building down and put up a new building in its place. And with me being in my situation where I cannot afford this now, I've searched every other option. And then this last option would give me the means of putting in a home that I can live in and feel safe in, bring my grandchildren in there and let them play in, because right now they're even kind of afraid to come into the house because it's so old and it needs so much repairs. And I'm just asking for help, or I just need to be able to get that house down and to bring another house in there to where I can live in and I can feel safe. And hey, the other houses in the community, they are not all new houses. Most of them are wood frame houses, but at least I would be comfortable, living in my house.
All right, Mrs. Wilson, the commissioners, any comments or questions?
Mrs. Wilson.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, for Kyle. Kyle, the protests that came in pertaining to the housing value being affected, is that accurate as a result of a manufactured home coming onto that property?
He's gonna speak.
I mean, that's largely going to depend on the price of the structure being moved onto the property. There are other factors related to the property valuation that is not related to zoning or it's not only to the value of the property there or this property. So I don't know if that's completely valid, if that's a valid concern in terms of if it's definitely going to impact their value of their property, but that is their concern.
But staff suggests denial as a result of it not lining up with the Tyler First.
For two reasons. It's not consistent with the Texas College plan, which recommends maintaining the R1A zoning where it currently exists, and to generally maintain the existing character of the neighborhoods in the district. And so the form of development or the form of housing that the applicant plans to put on the property is not one that's common in that area, and so there could be an impact on the character.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Wilson, do you the red outline that encompasses some of your neighbors there? I can't without an overhead. I don't know where houses sit, next to your property. But are you friends with those neighbors? Have you talked to them about what you're doing?
I have talked to some about that, and they was in agreement. My house is located basically on the front half, like on the front fourth of the acre.
Okay.
And the back of it is just mostly grown up area of grass and weeds that needs to be cut down. So it's not, and those, between us, there is like an alley that's not shown on there.
Okay.
And also, in my defense, I would like to say across from Texas College itself, there are 2 of these homes that have been moved in there, and they made them into duplexes. So they do have some in that area that's across from there. And I would say not even a half a mile from my house, just right around the corner, that curve you see is the Tyler Scrap and Metal. And at the Tyler Scrap and Metal, there is also a manufactured house right there that's on the fishing lake. So I do have those that are there. I know it's not within the 200 feet, but there are some within the area where I live.
Is your home going to go right where your current one is?
Yes, sir, I want it right where the current one is.
Okay. About the same size, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Commissioners, any other questions? Thank you for that one.
Commissioner Reed, for Heather, any creative solution other than just going to the straight zoning request that you can think of for Ms. Wilson?
We have tried to think of a creative solution. Unfortunately, in this situation, it's just been very difficult. Without trying to, suggest a stick-built home that would be consistent with the character of the neighborhood. It's hard to come up with one that would work for Mrs. Wilson.
Okay. And it sounds like from what Mrs. Wilson's saying, that there are maybe some legal non-conforming mobile homes in the general vicinity.
There may be. I would have to look back out. I'm not sure. Is the fishing hole, is that inside city limits? I can't remember.
It's right by the loop. It's right by the loop in 34th
Yeah, it's on the
Street.
north loop there across from Tyler Iron and Metal.
Okay.
So it's not really
Oh,
in the
industrial,
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the other two homes that Ms. Wilson mentioned that she said that were turned into duplexes?
They're either on 24th or 25th Street, right there across from Texas College. And they're on the corner of Glass and either 24th or 25th. There are two long-length mobile homes that have been brought in, and they have been divided for the duplexes.
And they're mobile homes, Ms. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Kyle, to me, if we had a bunch of red around of neighbors protesting that have been notified, to me, that obviously has to be taken into high consideration. But we don't.
And thinking about Texas College trying to keep the same atmosphere and environment.
Yeah, to me though, if it's not, homogeneous throughout and based on what Ms. Wilson said, I feel like it's not a huge disruption to that area if it is sort of, variations along the way. That's kind of my feeling about it.
Kyle, Commissioner Reed, is any further out than what we show on the future land use guide showing anything that would be transitional or anything closer to that? Because it all appears to be single family, medium to low density, but we do have existing zoning that's across the street that's R2, and then a little bit of C1 and M1. Can you comment anything?
Well, what I can comment on is you do have large tracts.
Okay.
These tracts right here, the applicant's property, and then to the north of that, those are pretty long tracts that are just, they're not developed yet. There's low access in terms of street access.
Mm-hmm.
I think that T street you see there on the east side, I don't think the east to west, I think it's Howard Street. I don't believe that's constructed, and so
Okay.
that's good. Those factors are going to limit how that area can be, developed in general. But I guess you could. I mean, it is on the north side of that street where it's still. I guess you could say it transitions into maybe kind of a more rural type of environment.
Yeah.
So, and generally the manufactured homes are what you'll tend to see in those areas.
Yes.
So, I will say we talked about, or you asked about some creative solutions.
Yes.
We did look at that. The modular homes or housing is treated a little bit differently in that there are requirements in terms of value and like roof pitch and things like that, and some building material requirements or requirements for modular homes. Those are afforded in the state law, and they may or may not be preempted now by some of the building code restrictions or building material restrictions that were adopted in the past couple of years. But it doesn't seem, if we had those standards that also applied to manufactured homes, that could be something code related. Maybe a code amendment later on that could help manufactured homes kind of fit a little bit better, have some standards for that. But unfortunately, they only apply to the modular homes.
Okay.
So that is something that we looked at, but without a code amendment, is something that we can't say is a requirement. So, but to answer your question, yes. I mean, it does look like maybe this, as you go north from 29th, that it does get a little bit different than south of it.
Okay. Follow up to that, talking specifically about code. So are you saying that if a mobile home was placed on the property and had to be inspected, that it would not pass an inspection from our permits department, an inspection department? Or are you saying that there might be some discrepancy between building standards of a modular home and then building standards of a mobile home?
Yeah.
Manufactured home.
Well, I'd like to point out that we don't want to make these decisions based off of maybe the standards, because
Okay.
manufactured homes are built to a standard. It's a national standard, so they're not substandard in that respect.
Okay.
They are built to a standard.
Thank you.
Modular homes and site-built homes are built to the local standards, which may or may not exceed the national. So,
Yes.
if they were to move it on there, the requirement is that it has a red tag or red certificate on it that states that it was built to the HUD national standard.
Okay.
And that's what we use for approving it.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Kyle.
All right, Commissioner, any other questions for city staff or for Mrs. Wilson? If not, I don't have any cards. Is there any other person present who wishes to speak on this item? If not, is there anybody online who wishes to speak to this item?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item Z 20-037.
Commissioner Nichols, I'd like to second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion at this point? All right, Zach, are you down there?
Yes, sir.
Would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phoenix?
Yay.
Commissioner Reed?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitney?
Aye.
Commissioner Swain?
Aye.
Commissioner Landez?
Here. Aye.
Commissioner Nichols?
Aye.
And Commissioner Hudson?
Looks like a unanimous aye. That looks like a unanimous vote to approve this item. Good luck with your project, Mrs. Wilson. We're glad that you're doing what you're doing, at least based on our vote. Ma'am?
It'll need to go to the city council for final approval.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Zoning's been approved. That's our job. The rest of it's pretty much up to you. Thank you. All right, the next zoning item on the agenda is Z 20-038. I hope I'm going to mispronounce this. The last name is Aiken, 2901 East 5th Street. Kyle?
This is a zone change request from R1A single family to C1 light commercial. This is located on East 5th Street. The applicant's requesting the zone change to allow for commercial use on the property. As you can see, the property is surrounded by commercial uses. Properties to the northeast and west are developed with commercial uses. The property to the south is currently undeveloped. This request is consistent with the future land use guide, which identifies it as general commercial. Of the notices that were sent, none were returned in favor or in opposition to the request. The staff recommends approval of the zone change from R1A to C1.
I don't have any cards on this item. Is there any person here who would like to comment, address this zoning item for or against?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, before we move forward, I need to recuse myself from this item. I apologize for not doing that before we began. Okay?
Thank you. We'll pause while you step outside. Or again, is there anybody here who would like to comment on this item for or against, speak on this item for or against? Zach, is there anybody online who would, who's called in who wants to comment?
No, sir.
All right. Is there a commissioner who'd like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Z20-038. Commissioner Phoenix.
Commissioner Whitney, second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to approve this item and to adopt the staff's recommendation. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, motion, the item's been approved. Come on back in, Jimmy. That moves us down to plats. And these first group of plats are not among the consent plats, so what's your procedure, Kyle?
We will present each one and then have individual recommendations for each one.
Okay. When we get to number 5, there is a card here from someone who'd like to speak, so we'll pause when you get to that one, but you'll do the rest.
Okay. This first plat is a 3-lot subdivision. This is located at the intersection of East Front Street and the East Loop. The purpose of the plat is to subdivide 1 lot into 3 lots. All comments have been addressed and staff recommends approval.
All right, anyone to speak on this item for or against? Zach,
No, sir.
is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I'd like to make a motion that we approve F20-104.
Commissioner Phoenix, second.
We have two seconds, so
I'll defer.
You can take it, Blair.
it's okay. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Item's approved. Next is F20-105, J.P. Broughton's addition.
This is a 4-lot subdivision. This is located north of the northeast intersection of Connolly Street and South Gaston Avenue. For technical reasons, staff recommends denial of the plat.
Okay. Anybody here who wishes to speak on this item? Zach?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion? Mr. Swain makes a motion to deny. Mr. Reed makes a motion to, seconds the motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Item's denied. Next is F20-111, Hanley Heights subdivision. Kyle?
This is a 10-lot subdivision located at the northwest intersection of Terre Haute and South Robertson. The property is currently zoned R1A. The purpose of the plat is to subdivide 7 lots into 10 lots. In accordance with state law, notice was given to the surrounding properties. within the subdivision. And all comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval of the plat.
All right, any comments? Anybody here to speak on this item for or against? Zach, anybody on the phone?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, make a motion that we approve F20-111.
Is there a
Commissioner
second?
Landis, I'd like to second that motion.
Commissioner Landis, thank you. Your second's recognized. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items, plat's approved. Next is F20-108, Running Meadows.
This is a 36 lot subdivision. This is located in the Tyler ETJ. The purpose of the plat is to subdivide one lot into 36 lots with private streets. All comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval of the plat.
Or is anybody here who wishes to speak on this plat for or against? Zach, anybody on the phone?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Phoenix, I move that we approve F20-108.
Commissioner Reed, second.
Commissioner Phoenix has made a motion to approve. Mr. Reed, second the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's approved. Next is F20-082 Peachtree Ranch subdivision. Kyle?
This is an 11 lot subdivision. This is located in the Tyler ETJ, northeast of County Road 152 and 153. The purpose of the plat is to move lot lines and to subdivide 10 lots into 11 lots, so to add an additional lot. All comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval of this plat.
All right, any questions for city staff? If not, I have a card from Stacy Hinton. Mr. Hinton, would you like to address this? Please come to the microphone. I think if I understand your comment, I think it's been addressed, but please share it with us at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone, commissioners. My name is Stacy Hinton. We own the property, me and my wife and I own the property. It's 21287 on County Road 153. And my question is, with the changes that's coming, I'm just trying to figure out if this is a privacy fence. We own the property directly behind number 7 on the mapping there. And we're trying to figure out, is this a privacy fence that's coming, that's gonna be dividing the properties, or is this a road per se, or different streets that's gonna be put in place? And does it affect our property at all whatsoever for its property move, the line movement at all, anything like that?
I don't think there's a road. I don't think there's a fence. This is just a plat. They're just separating the 36 acres, no.
27.99.
20-something acres into, how many?
From 10 to 11.
11 lots from 10 to 11. That's all that's happening here, is just dividing the property.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time and presence. Anybody else wish to speak? If not, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion, we approve item F20-082.
Commissioner Reed, second.
Mr. Swain makes a motion to approve, and Mr. Reed seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's approved. Next is P20-14 Legacy Bend preliminary plat. Kyle?
This is a plan for a 28 lot subdivision. This is located east of the southeast intersection of Holly Tree Drive and Legacy Bend. The purpose of the plat is to plan for a 28 lot residential subdivision. All comments have been addressed, and staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle? If not, is there anyone here to speak on P20-014? Zach?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Whitney, I make a motion that we approve P20-014.
Commissioner
Whitney,
Phoenix,
makes a
second.
motion to approve. Mrs. Phoenix makes a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's approved. Now, we have a group of 3 consent plats. Kyle, just tell us about those, please.
Well, all 3 of these plats meet the approval criteria, and therefore staff recommends approval of consent plats, Group A.
All right, is there anyone here who wishes to speak on F20-078 Pine Canyon Phase 1, P20-013 the Pecan Grove, or F20-110 the final plat on Pecan Grove? There's a preliminary and then a final plat. Anybody who wishes to speak on those items?
No, sir.
Thank you, Zach. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I move that we approve the consent plat Group A.
Commissioner Swaim, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent plats in Group A. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The consent plats in Group A are approved. Next is consent plats Group B. Kyle?
Yes, sir. Before we move on to that, item number 2 on the agenda is F20-107 Forest Ridge at the Crossing Unit 2. That will need to be removed from the consent denial or the consent plat Group B, as it meets the criteria for approval now.
Okay.
So if we can have a vote to.
Is there a motion to remove F20-107 Forest Ridge at the Crossing Unit 1 final plat from the consent plat group?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I move that we remove F20-107 from the consent plat Group B.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Phoenix, second.
Yeah, Commissioner Swain gets this one, Pamela. He gets the second. So the motion has been made to remove this item from the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, let's just go ahead and deal with that one, since your comment is that it's ready to be approved. Kyle?
Right, is the outstanding comment was the lack of construction plans for the public infrastructure. And since the agenda was posted, we did receive the required construction plans, and therefore this plat meets the criteria for approval, and staff recommends approval.
All right, any questions for Kyle? Is there any discussion? Is anybody here who wishes to speak on this item for or against? If not, is Zach?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve F20-107.
Pamela Phoenix makes a motion to approve this one. Is there a second?
Commissioner Reed, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that gets us back to the consent plats Group B. Kyle, tell us about these.
Right,
please.
the plats on the consent plats Group B, for various technical reasons, do not meet the approval criteria, and therefore staff recommends denial of the consent plats Group B.
All right, and those would be F20-106 Baggett Road Edition, final plat, F20-109 Centennial Park at Legacy Bend, final plat, F20-116 Double Eagle Edition, final plat, and F20-119 Glenwood Heights, Third Amendment, and Jim Needham's Subdivision Number 4, First Amendment. Any discussion, anybody here speak on those items? Zach?
No, sir.
If not, is there a motion to, on this group? Mr. Reed?
Go ahead, someone else.
Mr. Nichols?
Mr. Nichols.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that We approve the denial of consent plats Group B.
Is there a
Make a
second?
motion.
Is there a second?
Mr. Swaim, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny the items on the consent plats Group B, except for the one that we've approved. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those plats are denied. That brings us to the consent construction plans Group A. Kyle?
We do have one item on the construction plan agenda, and it's for Timber Bend Trail. This plan, or these plans, are not in approvable form, and therefore, at this time, staff recommends denial of that item, and therefore denial of consent construction plans Group A.
All right, thank you. You know, this is, when I was here before, this was not done. Would you just brief me, it would take a couple of minutes and just brief me on how this works, because I really don't know.
Well, since you've been on, or since you've been off of the planning commission, the state law did change and included construction infrastructure plans into the 30-day action requirement by municipalities, and therefore, and they did have the authority that's responsible for approving plats as the authority for approving plans, and therefore that is the planning commission, and therefore that's why they're on these agendas. Also, the consent, we do have more plats now on a consent agenda for denial, and that is because the state law did change as well, that restricted cities from requiring or allowing 30-day waivers for action on their plat. So previously, we did have plats that were not completely ready for approval yet. And what we used to do is ask the applicant to give a 30-day waiver that would allow us to kind of hold the plat, and then when it's ready, put it on the agenda, and therefore we wouldn't have to deny the plat, and then the applicant wouldn't have to reapply. And so the change in the state law now require us to act on all plats within 30 days, and that's why you do see more plats being denied, where previously they were just held until they could be approved.
All right, thank you for the education. Is anyone here who wishes to speak on this consent construction plan Group A, IR 20-023 Timber Bend Trail? Zach?
No, sir.
There being no comments, does somebody like to make a motion? Mr. Reed?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we deny consent construction plans Group A.
Motion's been made to deny. Is there a motion, a second? Is there a second?
Commissioner Phoenix, second.
Mrs. Phoenix makes seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of denying this item, say aye.
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 That being the last item on our agenda, we're adjourned.